This is Duncan Ekasi, Impala FC captain, and you are watching the 3 Quarters podcast.
Three Quarters podcast crew. This is rather 3 Quarters podcast. I keep on saying crew like we are the game. This is episode 11, part 2, where we talk about the bad guy of the week. We talk about Rugby 101. We talk about some Sydney Sevens, and we talk about Six Nations, which has started, right?
It's just started, yeah.
Remember, Road to Japan. Our Kenya Simbas have started a quest to, or their campaign to make it for Japan in 2019. That's what the Rugby World Cup is going to be. These guys have a very realistic shot at making it for the Rugby World Cup.
Yep. And we have to be there.
And we have to be there. All we need to do is support these guys. Let's support these guys in numbers. And I'm sure you know a rugby player. If you know a rugby player, just drop him a text. You know, just encourage the game.
Encourage the game.
And more importantly, what we keep on saying as the 3 Quarters podcast, the game is 15. Rugby
It's the game.
Rugby is 15.
Yep.
This is Ngash, your official noisemaker.
Joro, the geek in charge.
And we go right into the bad guy of the week.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of guys for me. I liked Brad Okwaro, the centre Mwamba, who was playing some good ball. George Mtuku's ground for those who playing some good ball. On the homeboy side, with a couple of guys, we had Emmanuel Mavala, their skipper, we had Kevin Masai and Mike Wanjala, who we talked about, who were playing a good game.
Also,
We had Jeff, Shikoli won a hat-trick. We had Jeff Olmoj, first centre, second centre, sorry, I beg your pardon. Cyprian Kuto.
Cyprian Kuto played very well.
Also a decent game.
Yeah.
But for me, my bad guy of the week was Steve Otieno.
Steve Otieno.
The 8th man performance.
Yeah.
That guy is 20 years old.
20 years.
And then he looks like a
Wow. That guy is a sledgehammer.
His ball carrying was good.
It was fantastic.
His breakdown was good. His mauling was good. So my bad guy of the week was definitely Steve Otieno. Yeah, Steve Otieno, 8th man homeboys. Big up.
This guy is soon going to break into this 15th team.
That's
if he goes on that same trajectory.
And it's good to see guys like him. The guys taking over from the Brian Nicolis, Martino Wheeler, you know, the back row, the current back row in place, the Brian Okomis. They'll be the guys taking over. So big up. If he continues on this trajectory, he's definitely heading.
Yeah, definitely.
So Steve Otieno, big up.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff. Rugby 101.
Rugby 101.
Yes. What do you want to funza guys today?
So now let's go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Because we should have started with this.
Yes.
Rugby positions.
Yes.
Now you see there are many people who you see 15 guys on the pitch, you're like, what are all these guys? Who are they?
Well, it's a voting block. Who are all these guys?
Who are all these people? And what are they doing? What are their jobs?
Yes.
So I'll take you from number 1 to number 15.
Yes.
Initially, this is what you need to understand. A rugby team is broken into 2 sets. There is the pack, or the forwards, and the backs, the back line, yeah?
Yes.
So, in the pack, you have 8 players. Number 1, 2, and 3 are known as loose head prop, hooker, and tight head prop. Loose head prop on the left, tight head on the right. Now these are basically the biggest, most burly players,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
Guys who have all that, the strength, especially in the neck, shoulders.
Yes.
These are the guys who initiate the push in most breakdowns.
Yes.
Yeah. So this collectively they're called the front row.
Yes.
Then we have number 4 and number 5. These are you can call them the locks.
Yes.
Or the tight 5.
The locks,
the locks are the second row.
Yes.
So now the locks are usually the tallest guys in the pack.
Yes.
They are very strong, they are very heavy ball carriers.
Yes.
And you know they are tall, especially in lineouts.
Yes.
They're the guys who are pushed, who are lifted to gather the ball when the hooker throws it to them to gain possession.
Yes.
Then we have the back row.
So just before you go on, John, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 collectively.
The tight 5. Yes, exactly. Then now we have the back row.
Yes.
This is number 6, 7, and 8.
Yes.
Number 6 and 7 together are known as the flankers.
Yes.
Now they are usually very strong, aggressive. Aggression is a very important aspect to play as a flanker.
Yes.
And they're usually the first ones out of the scrum situation, and their job is to, they do all the dirty work. Most of the time, that's their job. They do the dirty work. they ball into breakdowns. They have to have very good support play.
Yes.
And they're the guys who clean up all the messes.
Exactly. So breakdown is important for them, and tackling.
And tackling, especially tackling.
Yeah, for the American football fans, they would compare them to the linebackers.
The linebackers,
exactly. Yeah.
Then we have the big guy at the back, the number 8.
Sorry, Joe, before we go on, 6 is a blindside flanker, 7 is an open side
flanker. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have the number 8.
Yes.
Now this is the guy who's at the back of the scrum.
Yes.
This is a very dynamic position, you can say, because he has to have very good footwork, especially when controlling the ball, when he receives it at the back of the scrum, for an 8-man pick or whatever, what have you. So a number 8, together the flankers, they're called the loose forwards.
The loose forwards or the back row.
Or the back row.
Yes. And you also want to add that number 8 has also kind of a job like number 7. They also work on the breakdown. They are very good ball carriers.
Ball carriers, yes, because there's this thing called the 8-man pick. If you have a very good 8th man, you'd always go for an 8-man pick. That's true. Yeah, so that's the forward. Now we have 7 backs. The backs are usually guys with more agility, they have more speed, and they're more elusive players. They have mostly good individual skills. Good hands. That is, you as a back, you have to have good hands. There's no two ways about it. Then within the backs, you have the 3/4 now. Okay, I'll start at half backs. These are 2 key positions in any rugby team. And I think without a good half back pairing, you can't play the game of rugby. That's true. So we have the number 9. Usually the number 9 or the scrum half is most of the time one of the smallest players on the pitch, because he has to be very, very nippy and elusive. Because he's operating in and around the scrum, and his main job is to distribute the ball from the breakdown, from a scrum, what have you, a line out. He distributes. He is the link between the pack and the forward. Now, the partner of a scrum half is the fly half. Now, the fly half is the team tactician. He's the one who calls the plays. For guys who know American football, he's like the quarterback.
Exactly.
If you like rugby, he's like the point guard. He's the one who sets the plays. He dictates the pace of the game. And one main important job of a fly half is kicking. In-game kicking mostly. He's the guy who kick when you're under pressure in your own half or in your own 22. He'll try to find touch with his kicks, or even just any kind of kick to gain ground or to gain a strategic position. That is a flyer. So he's the guy who calls the shots, and it's a very important position. Then we have
11 and 12. 11 and 14.
11 and 14. That's 11 is the blindside winger, and 14 is the right side winger. So wingers are usually the finishers. They execute after a play is made. They're the ones on the wings. Usually that's where you need most speed to go for the tries. So their job is to outpace and finish off moves. Then we have the center pairing. We have the inside center and the outside center. That's 12 and 13 respectively. At inside center, usually this is a guy who's really tough. And one thing that I've come to believe is that a number 12 should be able to straighten the run all the time. Always trying to break that line at initial contact. So number 12, that is the inside center. Then we have number 13, his partner. Number 13 is usually someone who's very technically gifted, very good hands, because he's the link between, when the ball comes in, he's the link to the wingers and to the number 15, who is the fullback. So those three, the wingers and the fullback, are called the 3/4. Collective as the 3/4. Now, number 15, fullback. This is a guy who has to have exemplary kicking. And one very important thing is he should be very good with his hands, especially receiving balls. Because every time the opposition is kicking, he is the first guy that will encounter that ball. So you need to know how to pluck it out of the air. And joining attacks. So a fullback has to be very dynamic. You'll see that fullbacks can most of the time they can play even 15, 14, 13, 10. So fullback is a jack of all trades, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And I guess,
and more important, and one of the most important jobs of a fullback, you have to say, is that he has to be very excellent defensively.
yeah,
Because he's the last
line of defense.
So he has to be very gifted at defense.
Definitely.
So that's been Rugby 101. We've taken you through the 15 positions. You had them. We'll be showing, just to make you visualize, there's a photo of dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs and positions. So we have to, we're going to be showing that to you guys, and you can just visualize and see what kind of guys.
Yeah, as in those dogs, those different breeds of dogs.
Yes.
They kind of, they're an analogy
Exactly.
to every player in their position.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sydney Sevens. Our boys who are playing at Sydney Sevens, unfortunately they didn't perform too well.
Yeah.
They lost. They won only 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, they beat Scotland.
Yes.
Japan in the group stages.
Yes. And
Scotland in the Challenge Cup.
The Challenge Cup,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So our boys come back. They now prepare for Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So all we can do is support our guys.
Yeah, this is after they finished 14th.
Yes, they did.
So now we are
now number
11th on the log.
Yes, we're now number 11. But anyway, as always, kudos to the boys. That was a good effort. We had 6 nations yesterday.
6 Nations.
Yeah, England. I'll just take you through the scores real quick. What happened yesterday? Scotland beat Ireland 27-2. England beat, our feature game was England-France. England beat France 1916. And then we have Italy versus Wales taking place today.
Yep.
Next week we have Italy versus Ireland. You have the Cup which is going to be Wales versus England in Cardiff, and France versus Ireland, which is also going to be a very decent game. What did you think about yesterday's game? I think it was more France played well than England played well. England won, but France
They won. I think they won because, as always in rugby,
Yes.
you have to be clinical.
Yes.
Because there were times when Bakatawa had chances to score.
Yes.
They didn't capitalize on their opportunities to score, and England did.
Yes.
Especially Teo's try towards the end.
Yeah.
Because at some point they were exchanging the lead. Then after that try,
Yes.
England shut down. They kept it close
Yeah.
and tight. There's nothing France could do about it. But France,
Yes.
you have to give them respect.
you have
The
to-
loss doesn't reflect how they played.
True, that's true.
Yeah.
And playing at Twickenham, we have to give them mad props. That has been part 2. I was going to say episode 2. That's episode 11, part 2 of the 3 Quarters podcast, where we've talked about Bad Guy of the Week. We've given you a Rugby 101 lesson, Sydney Sevens and 6 Nations. Remember to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter at 3 Quarters, follow us on Instagram now at 3 Quarters podcast, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the 3 Quarters podcast. This is Nash, official noisemaker.
Njoro, the kick in charge.
Stay tuned for part 3.